Welcome to another edition of Vigorously with me, Val Kleinhands. Content creator Nikita Redkar is in the building. I am so happy to have you here. You have some of the funniest stuff on TikTok. I swear. Welcome,
Hello.
welcome, welcome. Hello.
Oh, you're so nice. Thank you.
I love it, particularly when it comes to how you do the news, how you do cover political content. It's truly refreshing because of how lighthearted it is. We all need a
That's
break. Yeah.
yeah, that's really sweet. Thank you.
It's probably the goal, I'm imagining, with everything you do. Do you ever get overwhelmed by news too?
I always get overwhelmed by news, and the way that I like try to make it funny is always by making fun of the powers that be. Who's controlling the whole ship? Capitalism. Easy target.
Period. We've known that for sure. I noticed. I wanted to tell you, I'm a Harry Potter fan too, and
Yeah.
I had to ask when you wrote to the casting directors of the movies. I read that little tidbit about you, and I was like, yes, of course you did. Who was it that you wanted to play?
Oh, Hermione.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay. I thought
Didn't
so.
even care about the fact that they had already cast their Hermione or that she was white. I was like, listen, I have a better option. This 8-year-old girl who has no acting experience. And
But
brown.
me.
Yeah. I actually had a best friend who advised me that maybe you'd have a better chance playing the twins, Parvati and Padma, the Indian twins. And I was
Oh.
like, that must be why I'm not getting responses because they're like, Hermione is an Indian. So I'm like, I'll try that. So I was like, never got any feedback from them. But hey, I tried.
You never know. There could be another opportunity somewhere down the line for sure.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, I've been delusional since a very young age, and I'm happy that I picked that up.
It's the Salulu. Delulu was the Salulu, period. It is.
Period.
I saw Emma Watson in my neighborhood filming when she was filming Perks of Being a Wallflower. She filmed it in like one of a neighboring high school. Like
Mhm.
all the dance scenes and the classroom scenes, like she filmed it there, and she was just jogging, looking absolutely perfect in this pink athletic, like get up. It was definitely an athleisure set, and she was freaking gorgeous, and she was actually really nice. She was like, I will sign whatever you want, just don't take a picture right now because I'm sweaty Betty. But which was
And
reasonable.
that was what, 10 years ago? First of
This
all.
was, oh God, this was might have been almost 15 years ago too.
Oh my
It
God.
was This was Perks of Being a
So
Wallflower. So it was a while
autographs
ago.
where autographs was still in around
Yeah,
that
when?
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
I
it's Emma Watson. You want any excuse to talk to her. I don't even
yeah.
care.
I remember meeting Pete Wentz, the follow-up
Oh,
to Basis, at the
wow.
Austin airport in 2008, and I asked him for an autograph, and he gave me his autograph. And then I remembered, wait, we're doing digital camera pictures now. So I ran back to ask if he'd take a picture, and he had already left. So I
Oh
was
no.
really, because that was around the time where people were starting to take pictures more
Yeah.
instead of autographs, and I was like, no.
MySpace, glitter backgrounds,
It's
XOXO, rar,
oh my
high
god,
angles.
yeah. It's really amazing how much technology and evolutions of the internet we've grown up with and survived.
It is, and I mean, we're close in age, I'm guessing, and we've seen the transition, life before and after the internet, so to
Oh
speak.
yeah, we've
We've
ridden all the
seen,
waves.
right, like I couldn't even have dreamt of what TikTok is 5 years
Yeah.
ago,
Oh no.
6 years ago, would not
Hmm.
have known. So
Yeah.
you were one of the early adopters and just like embraced all of these changes. What was that journey like for you?
I didn't really start TikTok to because I had like a passion for TikTok. I did stand-up comedy for a few years. And before the
Oh, okay.
pandemic, I was doing that like pretty consistently, performing every single night in Austin, Texas, where I'm from. And right around the pandemic, when all the shows were getting canceled and just like open mics, all the usual stuff that I was going to was getting canceled. So I was like, okay, I'm bored. I need an outlet. I was on Twitter pretty much like 24/7, posting jokes, interacting with people, making new friends. So then TikTok came along, and I just like everyone else was like, okay, this is this teenage dance app. My
Yeah.
cousin at the time, who was maybe 16, 17, was on Musically a lot, and Musically evolved into TikTok. So I was like, this isn't for me. Then I started, I downloaded it for fun, and I started seeing people dancing on it, and also cracking jokes. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, do my stand-up jokes but in bed, and then
Okay.
how that translates over. So I just started messing around on it and kind of, seeing what everyone else was doing. So I did some sketches, I did some jokes, I did some dog videos. Never any dancing, because that's something I've always kept to myself.
I can't do it either. I'm a terrible dancer. I've never been a dancer on TikTok, but I will do like you said, I might do funny jokes or clips of the podcast, obviously, things
Yeah.
like that. But dancing, I tried Savage when the Megan Thee Stallion Beyonce thing was
Same.
tried it did not no,
Yeah.
my ankles are
And
still angry at me. They're
yeah. And I don't look sultry while I'm dancing either, which is like so much of these like young TikTokers. They dance and they flirt with you while doing it. I am focused so hard on remembering the moves that I look like a machine that's like going up.
trying to compute it. Like, where was their
Trying to compute
awkward
it.
puberty
Yeah.
stage? Where was their awkward puberty stage? It didn't happen.
It
What
didn't happen.
like I love your approach to sharing the news on the app too. We were just talking about that. Tell me about the moment that you realized we really could use just a lighter hearted delivery of the news and pop culture and things going on.
Oh my God. Well, I never set out for it to be lighthearted. I think that I had just, this was in 2022. I had just gotten off the phone with a friend who was being bothered by her ex because she was like
Ew.
living this like carefree, independent, just got a brand new job, like new boss bitch life.
Hot
And her
girl summer, let's go.
suddenly started texting her back, like, hey, we should get back together. Hey, I want you back. Like all of that stuff.
Nope.
And then, right around the time that was going on, it was a major news story that Russia had declared war on Ukraine, and Russia was starting its invasion. And
Okay.
something, yeah, so like something about, so I like, I was so sad and like so sudden. And I started like researching into, this invasion, and I was like, wait a second, why does Russia feel like my friend's toxic ex trying to get back his like independent boss bitch new ex who's like thriving in her independence? So I posted that analogy on my close friends, and every single one of my close friends responded and said, this actually makes a lot of sense. So I
Mm.
posted that on TikTok, not even thinking it would come to anything. Like, I still have a caption on that TikTok that says, sorry for interrupting for my usual material. And then I said, I explained the news that way, which, after I've grown, obviously it's like a way more nuanced explanation than just that. But that was like my starting point. And it went viral overnight. And I've never had a video go viral overnight in the year that I was doing TikTok. So I did another explanation about NATO, and because we were very much like discussing NATO and like um
Right. At that time, I think they were deciding who was even going to be part of it, or were people going to leave it,
yeah.
or what kind
Mhm.
of Sweden wanted to join. Yeah, there was something like that going on.
Yeah, exactly. So I explained the concept of NATO as a group of like besties who were like, if you fuck with us, you fuck with all of us.
Yeah.
And and people
Yes.
also really took to that explanation, and that video went like quadruple as viral as the first one. So I was like, oh, explaining things in this analogies of like my life and what I find interesting and the relationships that are in my life, this really seems to be connecting with people.
Oh, it makes total sense. And honestly, I think we need to be putting every toxic X in our phone as Russia. That's our clue. Russia, Russia, or a tombstone, or
Yeah.
just the Russian flag. Like,
No, literally. Russia, do
no,
not.
that's honestly that's been my policy my entire life. Like, I will never revisit an X. An X is an X for a reason to me.
Yeah.
Haven't
Yeah.
done it. Haven't ever gone back to one, and I never will.
That's wish I could say the same, but that's
It's hard. I get it. Like, I get there's feelings involved, there's an attachment involved, there's emotions involved. I understand it's not easy. I guess I'm just like a cynical bitch that just doesn't care.
no, I
Like,
mean, anytime I have tried to rekindle things with an ex, it becomes abundantly clear why this ended.
right. You get the
Within
reminder.
5 seconds, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. Now I remember.
Yeah. You're like, I don't want to do that again. Well, at the time we're talking, obviously the big hubbub, everywhere, and especially here in Minnesota, where I am, is we're excited that our governor, Mr. Tim Walz, is now running mate to Kamala Harris. We think it's fantastic news here. A lot of us are thrilled. The country seems to be thrilled. I can't
Oh,
wait.
that's so cool. I didn't know you were in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things from Minnesotans, which is such a good sign. Because if
Yes.
I'm from Texas, if our governor was VP, we would all
Ooh,
be terrorized. We would all be scared for our lives. So
women would have no rights
yeah,
whatsoever.
no.
Like that's what scares
So
me.
exactly. So the fact that people from his home state are this happy and excited,
Yeah.
that's great.
Tim Walz is the Midwest dad that will let you proceed first in a four-way stop. That is what he will do. He's but no, he's great. I mean, we've been happy with the way he's been running the country mostly. If you're a conservative, not for obvious reasons, but
Okay. Yeah.
mostly most
Yeah.
people are pretty, they're either okay with him or they really love what he's been doing. He seems to be looking out for the average working day person,
I
in
mean, that's
my
all you can
opinion.
ask. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really all you can ask from a politician because I saw someone explain it really well the other day. If you and your best friend talked about political issues, there's going to be a certain point where you start to disagree. You can agree
Yeah.
on everything, but even digging into like those specific points, there's probably something you disagree on. So, no politician is going to be perfect to anyone.
Right.
And for someone to elicit this reaction of either we love you or either meh, that's very promising.
Yeah. I think the only people that I recall actively hating him were the ones that didn't want to mask up, because he
Mm,
pretty quickly said we're going to mask up
we're gonna
whenever
okay.
when the pandemic hit. He was
Yeah.
one of the earlier adopters from what I remember. But
Okay.
this kind of thing makes me hopeful. Are
Yeah.
you hopeful for America's future too?
I would say I, at the moment, am very cautiously hopeful because I have
Yeah.
been scarred by American politics for many, many years. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm not letting my cynicism cloud this moment that is very happy and hopeful. This is in the longest time I have felt pretty hopeful about
Yeah.
American politics. And I'm also very glad to see the Democrats have such a strong ticket. And I'm also glad to see that a lot of younger people's voices are being heard. I think that
Mm,
Maltz was out of the Democrat picks for VPs is a very, very strong choice and someone who has been receptive of some of the issues that like we're facing today.
yes. Yeah.
So yes.
I know. I love it. I'm excited to see where it goes for sure. Sometimes politics feels a little bit like reality TV in a
Yeah.
way. You ever feel that way? Like I feel like sometimes you're like Real Housewives of New Jersey, you're choosing between Teresa or Melissa's side. Like
Yeah.
among the Judice Gorga family, like that whole drama, like you're
Oh
forced to
my
choose a
god.
side. Sometimes I can feel that way.
If men watched reality TV shows or suffered through middle school drama, we wouldn't have politics because they would have resolved all of those issues by now. I think it's so immature, some of the stuff that we have to like witness, like, even
Hmm.
boiling down to like the issues of our time, like, oh, I want your piece of land, so I'm gonna come kill you. Like, is there no other way to solve this like an adult? I
Hmm.
refuse to believe it's as complicated as people make it. I think it's just immaturity that this is our reality, this is what shapes our reality, and this is what
Right.
affects people's real lives.
Or ego. They just don't want to be wrong,
It's
or they don't
all
want somebody to tell me.
ego
Yeah.
driven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets old,
It gets so
but
old. Ugh.
it does. But you inadvertently, whether you realize it or not, you're kind of keeping other Americans informed just by putting your videos and the way that you do news. Was that ever an intention in the back of your mind?
I don't know actually. I think I feel very lucky that I am in this position. I think I've always gravitated towards news and politics. Like ever since I was college, I was watching The Daily Show and The Colbert Report every single
I love
day.
them.
I know,
Both of
R.I.P.
those shows.
Well, I guess Daily Show is still around, so not that.
Yeah.
But I've always been interested in it, and I've always enjoyed kind of talking about the news and politics in that way too. So it seemed to be, coming back to my roots a bit when I started this TikTok channel.
Yeah. How do you protect your own mental health when the news or politics gets heavy and dark?
Ooh, no, that's a great question. That's something I'm still figuring out myself. But I mean, there's really no shame in just logging off and just shutting off the phone, putting it in your
Yeah.
pocket for a while. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be informed all the time. Social media used to be social media, and now Instagram is 24/7 news source where you can't make it past one or two posts without seeing something heinous. And it's very heavy for a lot of people. Social media shouldn't kind of have, they should be two separate apps. I think like news is one app, and seeing your friends and getting updated on your friends is another. Seeing, you
Yeah.
know, the most gruesome, horrifying, miserable image of your lifetime, something that you can't even handle, and then all of a sudden the next post is like someone enjoying themselves at the beach. Like, what am I
Hmm.
supposed to do with these two like parallel streams of information? But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, um, we are animals at the end of the day. Like being out in the sun, being out in nature, just going for a walk, even if you live in like New York City where you're surrounded by stress and noise like I am. Just you really can't discount the power of outside and shutting your phone off for a bit. I think I personally treat social media and TikTok very much like a job now, where I
Mm.
post and then I'm off of it. Like 5 p.m. I'm off. I'm not even scrolling for fun.
Oh, okay. Do you ever
Yeah,
catch
like
yourself
even
scrolling for fun just to do it?
oh, all the time. And and even when my sister is like, check out this TikTok, I'm like, that is like asking me to open an Outlook email on vacation. I will
You
not do it until tomorrow.
no. Yeah, we
Mm-mm.
don't want to do that. Palm tree emojis, away messages on.
Yeah.
It is 5 p.m. Everybody needs
Mhm.
to leave us alone. I completely
Yeah,
understand. We
I,
do
I
need a
mean, I
break.
mean, it's definitely easier said than done, but I really cannot. I would say do not feel guilt or shame for shutting your phone down. I think there's a lot of guilt or shame to be felt that there's this horrible thing going on and I can't
Hmm.
immediately fix it. So the very least I can do is to stay informed and to keep posting my stories and to make posts and like all of that, yes, but you cannot be an efficient community member without giving yourself some rest and without giving
Yes.
time off. Because if you are burnt out on helping the cause, that's not helping the
Yeah, balance. That's what I'm talking about. Balance. Like there's a time and a place. It's good to set a time limit. There's screen limits that you can put on your phones anymore. I think that's been
cause.
a fantastic invention. We
Yeah.
needed it when
Mhm.
the phones first came out, really, because
Yeah.
it can get overwhelming. And honestly, sometimes I fall into the trap as a content creator too, where I'm like, if I'm not posting, I'm not gaining followers. I'm not
Mhm.
reaching anybody new. I'm not reaching potential new followers. And then I'm like, oh, I'm falling behind. But then you got to remind yourself, bro, you had COVID 2 weeks ago. No,
Yeah.
you don't want to be. You're not gonna want to be posting when you're feeling terrible.
Mhm.
Like it's okay if you take a week off because you're sick. Or
Totally. Yeah, and that's also something that I have a hard time believing myself because I'm like, okay, even if I'm on vacation, I have to have something going up, otherwise I'll fall behind, otherwise I'll be irrelevant. But I like to think that TikTok has evolved past the hyper posting stage. I think
mm,
now where if you have something of quality and of substance, that is way more important than posting whatever thought, whatever is in your mind for that second and just doing it because oh I think I have to do it.
yeah. Is there a
Yeah.
particular post that showed you that substance mattered more than I'm doing this for the aesthetic? I'm doing it for the vibe.
You know, I've had both to be honest. I've sometimes thought of a post in the middle of the day and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna film this, and it has gone viral. And I've
Ah,
worked very, very hard on videos that have not been seen by like more than 1,000 people.
yeah.
So the algorithm is really fickle, and I've kind of learned to come to terms with the fact that I will probably never understand it. I don't, maybe you post 3 times a day, maybe you post at 8 p.m. every Tuesday. Like there's so many rules. I don't know which one is real, which one is not. So at this point, I'm like, I'm just gonna do what feels best to me. Sometimes I have weeks where every single day I have a video coming out. Sometimes I don't, and you know, and if you're on my page, I don't delete anything that I
Mm.
post, even if it doesn't do as well. So you'll probably see some fluctuations. Like some videos have a lot of views and some have like, you know, far like a fraction of that. So it's exhausting being a content creator for sure. And it's, you know, also exhausting being a consumer of content.
Yeah,
So
it can be.
you really have to listen to what feels right in your own mind. And that's something that I'm working on. It's just like listening to myself.
Yeah, you have to have like a natural creative way about you, I think. And the what follows that is the passion to do
Yeah.
it consistently, I think. Because
Mhm.
otherwise, if you're just not into it, you're not going to do it. And you're also not going to blow up the way that you might want to. You
Oh,
have to
for sure.
love doing it.
For sure. And I'm very lucky that I had my stand up days to kind of teach me the discipline of, you know, having a schedule and having a routine and, you know, accomplishing like a 10-minute set by this, you know, deadline in 2 weeks when I have a big show or whatever. I did gain a really good work ethic from that. So now it's to the point where I know that if I take a day or two off, I'm not going to completely lose my will to do it.
Mm,
So I
yeah.
think, you know, while it's a balance, right? Like, yeah, it's super important to rest. Arguably, that is like the top priority, resting your mind and your energy and your spirit. But at the same time, like you know, you gotta have a little bit of a work ethic. You gotta have discipline too. Otherwise, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, you got if no one's going to do it for you. That's
No
what I
one's gonna
learned.
worry.
No,
Same.
nobody's gonna do it for you. You got to do it just because you want to do it. If you were, if somebody came to you and said, "I wanted to start creating content," they haven't done it before, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
I would say to not wait until you have a niche.
Mm,
On TikTok and Instagram, there is a lot of focus on having a particular niche. But if you wait for that, then you're going to be waiting forever because I didn't find my niche, quote unquote, until I was posting for over a year, well over a year.
okay.
And I tried multiple different things. As I told you, I tried stand up, I tried sketches, I tried queer jokes. A lot of, I am queer, by the way. I'm not just like making jokes about queer people.
Clarified that one. Okay. Good to
So
know.
So I was trying out a bunch of different hats and I was having fun doing all of those. So like really any one of them could have taken off and I would have had a good time doing them. And then just so happened to be news. So I would say that. I would say try as many facets of yourself as possible. I also think be yourself is very vague advice because we have so many different interests, you know? Like
Hmm.
I love pop music. I also love public transportation maps. Those like how yeah.
Why not do both and see what
Why not do
sticks?
yeah, why not try both? Why not try either or? So like telling someone to be yourself is I think very counterproductive because we are so multifaceted as human beings. So try every part of yourself that you think is interesting and see which one sticks. You know, see which
Yeah.
one people respond to, see which one you have fun doing.
I think it's about being authentic to yourself and choose whatever is going to make you look like you're excited. Like,
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
that's what people want. To me, that people want to see someone lit, they're excited, they're ready to go, they're
Mhm.
happy to be talking about whatever it is they're talking about. You don't, nobody wants to like listen to that person who's just monotone and like, hey,
No.
here's an ad, here's what I'm doing just because I want to
Yeah.
be online. Nobody wants to hear that. I want to see you excited. I want to see you like stoked for whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's important
Yeah.
too. And
That's
if
true.
something is authentically meaningful to
Uh-huh.
you, you're gonna that's gonna come off. That
It's gonna
energy is gonna come out.
it's gonna come out for sure.
Yeah. What is next for you? What can we look forward to coming from you?
Oh, that was my dog barking.
That's okay. We love dogs.
um, Next for me, I am starting a podcast eventually. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So good. I love that news.
I just gotta sit my butt down and figure out what type of equipment works out, and
I
all of
got you on that.
it's up. Oh,
I
amazing!
got I got you on that.
And I want to get into YouTube because it pays
Mm.
good.
Listen, no shade.
Exactly. No, I gotta afford my vacation somehow. And
And rent.
and rest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. And then yeah, I would say like those two things are mainly on the horizon for me. Other than that, I'm just gonna keep posting as usual to my TikTok and my Instagram. Also think I want to go into like more lifestyle and fashion type of stuff.
Fun. I'd love to see that too. You do have great style. You're giving new metal to me, like
So,
late 90s
oh,
new metal right now
oh my
to
gosh,
me.
I love that.
I was gonna say that. I was like, ah, the particularly the necklace. I was like, yes,
It's one of my
this is
favorite
what I was. This is what I was wearing in '98. I'm like, no, I love it so much, and I cannot wait to see what's next. That's so good, Nikita. Thank you for your time. Thank you for chatting with me.
Thank you so much, Val. This was so fun.
Yay!